The cartoon begins with the fact that the sport has a dream. He dreamed that he wanted to go on a trip around the world, but his mother absolutely does not want to let him go on this. His dream ends because his mother woke him up. It turns out they didn't always live on this island. They moved from the jungle, according to Mom, because Passport was constantly looking for adventures. There are absolutely no monkeys and sunlight where they moved to. The inhabitants of the island constantly mock the monkey. And this is repeated again, but the Passport was able to distract their attention with a frog that was riding on a board on the sea. A flock of seagulls tries to eat a frog, but he turns out to be more agile than them, and a flock of birds ends up in the water. But the frog got no less. She fell off the board and choked on a fish. She swam ashore and helped her to pull out the fish. A police agent on their island learns that the frog's name is Phileas and that he also loves to travel very much. The monkey came up to Phileas to say that he also likes to travel and told about his favorite researchers. Frog and Shrimp want to bet that Phileas will not be able to travel around the world in 80 days. The bets are made and the frog should already leave, but the shrimps are not sure that Phileas will not deceive them and send a passport with him. But Mom does not lower the bet and he is about to despair, but then Phileas looks in at his window and offers to go with him tomorrow, but the bet must give money for tickets and fuel. Naive to argue, Phileas gives his savings to Phileas and he leaves. Naturally, Phileas was not going to take the bet with him, but simply deceived him to take the money, and now morning comes. It turns out that at night someone robbed a local bank and stole 10 million crabs. That was the name of the money on their island. The agent thinks a frog did it. Meanwhile, boarding the ship is ending, and the Passport overslept and woke up only when it was announced that the ship was leaving soon. But at the very last moment he manages to jump into the ship and leaves. Agent Fix and Mom Passport agree to return Phileas and Passport to the island. To do this, they brought the gun to the port and put a Fix agent in it. 5 seconds later, the agent was on the ship in search of the suspected thief Phileas. In an attempt to escape from the agent, Phileas and Sportive fall off the ship. From this moment their adventures begin. They find themselves in the desert. After a while, they run out of strength and water. Almost dying of dehydration, they see a cactus. And then the Passport abruptly remembers that you can get water from a cactus. That's what they did. But then a company of scorpion motorcyclists drives up to them and they say that they do not like strangers, and even more so those who drink water from their cacti. By deception, they escape from the scorpions, but then they fall into quicksand. 21 days have already passed. With the help of Phileas, they get out of the sands and continue walking. It turns out the agent has been following them all this time. Day 25. Phileas and Passepartout are located in southern Chrysovia. Phileas is delighted with this city. It turns out that the frog is wanted in this city, and before boarding the train, a chase begins for him. With great effort, but they still get on the train. It turns out that Phileas is hiding something but does not want to tell. Agent Fix gets on the train and tries to arrest Phileas, but he does not succeed again. Day 31. Phileas and Passepartout quarrel a lot, but they are united by the fear of the tribe that lives in this jungle. They caught this tribe during the sacrifice. Phileas liked the frog that they wanted to sacrifice. They save her, but the rest of the tribe starts chasing them. Now the three of them travel together. The frog they rescued turned out to be the princess of Akita's city. All together they go to Akita. Here Phileas and Passepartout have to get on the ferry and Atta will leave them and go to his kingdom to finish building his plane. It was one of the few things she liked to do. In this city, the Passport finds a museum of his favorite traveler and researcher Quan Frog. It turns out that this researcher is Papa Phileas. And Phileas and Dad are not on the best of terms. But then, as if for evil, Agent Foxy appears riding a bird and takes Phileas with him. It turns out that she robbed the bank and wanted to frame Phileas and pass him off as a thief. Phileas' father and Sportu go to Atta for help. With the help of Atta's plane, they had to rescue Phileas. And so they fly up to Phileas and he falls into their plane. Phileas and his father have reconciled and the four of them are already going to the skeleton where Passport used to live. Mom Passport starts noticeably sad because of the long absence of her son. But then a plane takes off from behind the clouds. Friends have only 5 minutes left until the end of the dispute, and at the most inopportune moment when victory is very close, an agent appears riding a seagull. Agent Fix shoots down a plane and 4 friends fall into the sea. There is 1 minute left until the end of the dispute, and Phileas, his father and Audi still haven't looked out of the water. The shrimps begin to celebrate their victory. But it wasn't there. For silhouettes appeared on the horizon, gliding through the water on boards. They made it. Also, Agent Fix got out of the water and began to accuse the frog of theft, but in the end he got caught himself. Also during their flight, Phileas discovered a new Earth. At the end of the cartoon, the whole island celebrated the victory with their signature dance.